A walk along the towpath of the Birmingham Main Line Canal. It follows the 21 locks out of Wolverhampton to the Aldersley junction. It starts near the Wolverhampton Inner Ring Road and highlights along the way an industrial past that disappeared many years ago. It ends at a junction with the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal. It's the centre of Wolverhampton, and in the distance is Broad Street. To the left is Ring Road St David's. To the right is Ring Road St Patrick's. Going away from the town is the Wentzfield Road, and then on the left is Broad Street Basin, where the walk begins. It's a pleasant landscaped area on the fringe of the city centre. This area on the right was once known as the Hay Basin. In the 19th century, hay was distributed from here. Now, it's home to Canada geese. This new bridge replaced the old Broad Street Bridge, which was rebuilt at the Black Country Museum. In 1850, the mayor was called out on a Saturday to read the Riot Act, when the Birmingham and Shrewsbury Railway Company was refused permission to offload its cargo onto boats. At the end of the basin is lock number 1. A narrowboat is coming out of the first lock and is heading towards Broad Street Bridge and Birmingham. Adjacent to the top lock, as lock number 1 is known, are some cottages. There are a few examples of this sort of canal architecture. They would have been home to the lockkeeper, and it would be here where the tolls were collected. On the right, just before Little's Lane Bridge, the small building is on the site of the boat users' mission. On the other side is the former Victoria Basin. There is a cast iron post marking the extent of the Birmingham Canal Navigation's land. Little's Lane Bridge is one of a number of 18th century bridges on the walk. On the other side of the bridge is a post and rings where a gate hung to prevent walkers accessing the towpath. Carver's Builders Merchants now occupies a site used until 1948 by the Great Western Railway Company to transfer cargo. An Act of Parliament in 1768 allowed for the building of the canal. It was begun by two of James Brindley's assistants, Samuel Simcock and Robert Whitworth. Just beyond Lock 3 is a railway bridge where the canal takes a right turn. There are iron bars on the corners. The grooves have been made by the ropes used by the horses to tow the boats. The idea was to prevent damage to the brickwork. Overflows bypass the locks with the excess water. A windlass or key fits onto the rack and pinion. Turning it opens the gates to let the water in and out. Passing through a lock can be a multi-handed process. The canal is home to various species of wildfowl. A coot with 2 youngsters and a mallard taking its ease. On the right, just before Cannock Road Bridge, is the site of the former Mitchells and Butlers Brewery. It was built from 1873 by William Butler to make use of the high quality spring water. A lot of the old buildings have been demolished. The bridge in the distance is Cannock Road Bridge, just beyond Lock 5. A plaque commemorates its opening in 1924. The old brewery entrance is a short detour down the Cannock Road and along Cambridge Street. The site is being regenerated by Wolverhampton University. It's home to the School of Architecture and the Built Environment. The Thomas Telford University College also has a base there. Back on the towpath, the wildfowl are making the most of the good weather. The Crown galvanising works was on the left, and the blocked up entrance to one of its wharves is still visible. Nowadays, there are few signs of the area's industrial past. Another pair of mallards are leisurely going about their business. Use of the canals is now a leisure activity, and many spend their holidays on the waterway. It's a boating version of towing a caravan. There are some interesting things to be seen on some of the locks. On the steps below Lock 7, a benchmark is carved into the brickwork. Beyond Lock 7 was the series works site. It supplied local farmers with manure and bone meal, and lent its name to Bone Mill Lane. You can see 6 bricked up loading bays, which used to open onto a secure wharf. On the other side is Fowler's Park. On the edge of the park, adjacent to the canal, there are the remains of a former railway turntable. It's a shame there are no signs giving information and acknowledging the importance of this archaeology. Just after Lock 8 is Jordan's Bridge. There are more of the cast iron rubbing strips that prevented damage to the brickwork. To pass through a lock, the gate has first to be opened to allow the narrowboat to enter. Once the gate is shut, the machinery is operated to allow the water level to lower, and then the boat can proceed. The narrowboats now pass the Wolverhampton waste incinerator. Latter-day Fred Dibners are working on the chimney. In the distance is a conference and banqueting centre, built to resemble an old warehouse. Lock number 9, 12 more to go. Opening and closing lock gates must be a good way to keep fit. Just before the nightclub building is Fox's Lane Bridge. It's another 18th century bridge. On the steps of Lock 10 is another benchmark. If you want to see mallards, there are plenty about on this stretch of the canal. A family of Canada geese have taken up residence here. In the distance are 2 girder bridges and the Stour Valley Viaduct carrying the Wolverhampton to Stafford main line. It now looks quite rural, but it hides a very industrial past. Both sides of the canal were once the site of the gasworks. This is the area around locks 13 and 14. Off to the right is the Wolverhampton Science Park, home to numerous high-tech businesses. The Goresbrook Bridge is just past Lock 15. With the floral decoration, I should think this narrowboat is probably privately owned. Pause for thought is working Lock 15. I think that's the correct terminology. No doubt it is named after these two. You can also see the famous big M for McDonald's above the towpath. Passing over the bridge is the main A449, heading north towards Stafford. The canal now heads in a roughly northwesterly direction. Lock 16 comes just after Goresbrook Bridge. The canal now passes under the Oxley Railway Viaduct. This large brick-built structure carries the line from Birmingham to Shrewsbury. After the viaduct, the canal surrounds take on a more rural aspect. Wildfowl are still much in evidence. Lock 17 soon follows. The towpath is now a popular spot for walkers and cyclists. Behind the trees on the left is Dunstall Park Racecourse with its all-weather track. The racecourse relocated from the West Park in 1789. You wouldn't think this is so near to the centre of Wolverhampton. Lock 19 is just before Dunstall Park Bridge. There is yet another benchmark carved into the steps before the bridge. Lock 20 was a later addition. This is because what is now Lock 21 was very deep and took a long time to fill. Lock 21 is the last one on the route. There's a bridge beyond it, and on the left there was a lockkeeper's office. There are holes on the bridge coping, which held lights to illuminate the junction. It's a T-junction with the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal. Turn left and head towards Worcester. Turning right, the finger post points narrowboats in the direction of Stafford. They pass under Aldersley Bridge, where the walk ends. It's been an interesting walk through the industrial heritage of Wolverhampton.